Hello. Come right on in. You're at Father Fish. Nice to have you with us.
Does boiling wood also help remove tannins?
Well, it'll remove surface tannins, but it will not remove deep tannins. It won't remove. Sap doesn't go inside the tree, but the tree is a living organism. So it contains organic material, and that organic living material has to be broken down and dissipated, or it'll foul the tank. So boiling boiling a limb off of a tree is not going to prepare it for putting in a fish tank because you won't be able to get through it. It needs to either thoroughly dry out or to become thoroughly what's the word I'm looking for? Drowned, thoroughly soaked with water, such that the water then rinses out all of the living or dead, for that matter, cellular matter inside the wood. A piece of driftwood is dry to the bone, or dead to the bone, might be a better way to say it. Having the outside of it cleaned off and purged of anything is not sufficient. The inside of it is still going to contain organic matter that can foul your tank. I've had it happen. I've had pieces of wood, that root systems particularly, that were just absolutely spectacular, and I really wanted them in my tank, so I cleaned them as best I could, and I took the risk, and I fouled the tank. The wood, it takes a long time for a piece of driftwood to become dried out or purged enough to be able to be really manageable in an aquarium. It needs to be years old, not something you've cut down off a tree and boiled for an hour or two. That isn't going to work. That will not do what you want done. You can put a piece of wood like that out in the sun and leave it for a season. Leave it for 3 or 4 months, and you'll be a little better off. It'll be relatively safe. It won't really be purged, but it probably will be relatively safe. You want to be careful when you put it in. If you start seeing significant discoloration, that discoloration is not only tannins, that discoloration can also be sap. It can also be organics coming into the water that will foul the water and will kill your fish. So you need to be careful with driftwood. Don't just boil something and think you're ahead of the game, because you're not. It's not going to work. And the one time you might be successful should not give you any confidence that you can do that routinely, because it's like playing Russian roulette. Eventually it'll catch up with you. It's like people with gravel in their tanks. I've never had a problem. I've been keeping fish for 20 years. I've always had gravel. I've never had a problem. And the next time I see them, all their fish have died, because they've been playing Russian roulette. They've been able to do a maintenance program, a protocol that has worked, that has been effective, and then something changes. The protocol gets broken, gets varied in some way. Maybe they forget to do something. Maybe they go away for a while. maybe they get sick for a week or two and can't take care of their fish. And all of a sudden, whatever it is they've been doing routinely that has kept things going and kept things in place stops, and the system gets overwhelmed by what they have been protecting it from, and they wind up in trouble. The benefit of a deep substrate, a dirted deep substrate with a sand cap, is that it creates an environment that is as close to permanent as you are likely to ever be able to get in a fish tank. It's not the best way to keep fish. It's the safest way to keep fish. And it's the surest way to have a system that you don't need to struggle with and worry about and fret over and keep your hands in all the time. If that's what you like to do, then you don't need to do this. But if you want something that you can feel comfortable with, that's going to last, that's going to be safe, that's going to be healthy for your fish, that will go on literally for years and years without any significant intrusion on your part, then do a deep sand bed. You'll be amazed. A deep substrate, I should say, with a sand cap. You can do sand too. You can do pure sand. People ask me all the time, can I just put sand in? Yes, you can. It'll take 6 months for a year for the bottom in that sand to build up enough mulm, enough organics to be functioning then as an organic engine, an anaerobic organic engine, such that it'll be able to break down waste and feed nutrients to your plants. So you don't have to do dirt. It does kickstart the system, and it's not a dangerous thing to do, so long as you've got it adequately capped. Cheers.
Very nice.
What else?
There was well, you mentioned it's not the best way to keep fish. What do you think is the best way to keep fish? You were saying that with regards to the deep, doing it with the deep substrate.
You hire a crew of aquarists full time, 24/7, who will sit on your tanks more or less permanently, and will have eyes on and will care minute to minute for everything going on in the system. So, that would be the best, because that way, if 5 years down the road, the pH suddenly drops below 7.0 and you haven't bothered to check it, these guys will know, because they'll be testing it every 15 minutes. So if you don't want to have to become a slave to your tank, which is the one way to guarantee that your tank is going to be healthy, the fish are going to be happy, and everything's going to be just fine, by you literally being the god of the tank, who has eyes on 24/7, 365. If you're really not prepared to do that, then do a dirted tank with a sand cap. You'll love it. Now, Lee sent me a video once he had done this. He was very angry with me because he said I stole his hobby from him, because he always had his hands in the tank, was always mucking around with it, was always doing things to it, and now he didn't need to, and he was bereft. So I counseled Surly and signified to him the vital step he had taken in reaching an avatar status, an avatar relationship with his aquarium, whereby he could now be in a symbiotic spiritual relationship with his fish and simply sit there and zone out and and meditate on the glory of his aquarium. And he did that to the point where he didn't even feed his fish for 6 months. And they were fine.
Somebody had asked.
Well, I hope you found something you've never seen before. Have a great day. Nice to have you with us. Come on back.